Competition on the diamond, that's pretty good. The competition for governor is getting pretty good. Hey, good evening. Hey, the most important thing here, the Giants have won 2 in a row. And going into the bye, they regroup. They may be the first ever playoff team that didn't get to 500 because the division is so bad. We'll talk a little baseball, too. How can we not? It's very exciting around here. Pats, mumble through another of those and come back. But, we got a lot of stuff going on here today because this Monday ended up becoming very political and very action-packed when it comes to this thing called the governor's race in 2014. When it comes to the treasurer's race, we've got some high-profile blue-chip candidates in that race. And one of my guests tonight, my only guest tonight, is Ernie Almonte, the former Auditor General, and he's looking to be state treasurer. I have no time to waste on small talk, so I got to go to the rundown. Let's go to the rundown for a Monday night. Taveras for governor, he announced today. Raimondo says, if I run for governor, I will not leave the party. Speaking of leaving the party, he built the party, and he left it. We'll talk about Ken Block's move today. What else do we have? We have progress in the pool. I've been killing you with this pool thing, but hey, big doings over the weekend, and they're all tied up. Game 5 tonight. Now listen, first pitch is not until 8:07, they say. I don't even think they get it in at 8:07, so you can stay right here. Hey, what else do you need to know? You don't need a pregame. All right, let's go. Pregame's right here. Angel Taveras announces at the Meeting Street School today that he's running for governor. That's why you got all the bookcases behind him. Here was the weird thing about it. The typical, all the crowd coming in type of thing. It was kind of interesting because it took him 3 pages of this speech to get to what I'm going to play you. 3 pages after the, I was born, I had to walk uphill 4 feet of snow both ways, my mother is a hero, and I'm sure all that's true. But all we get are the stories about me, me, me. He finally got to a little thing here, and then he took a little whack at his potential opponent. Here we go.
I'm running for governor because I know what can be achieved by putting the needs of families and children front and center. I know the power of bringing people together to seek real solutions. I know we have the ability to make tough choices today for our kids' future. I know we have the ability to stand up to special interests and be a voice for the voiceless. I know we can stand for good wage jobs and then make the changes we need to create them. And I know that to really take on our challenges, we need a state government that solves problems instead of creating them, that pushes toward solutions instead of just drifting along, that combines new ideas with the core values we believe in: hard work, the dignity of a good job, access to quality schools, and better health care for everyone. I got things done in Providence not by throwing bombs or posturing. I didn't get things done by just going along with the way things were. I got things done by building coalitions, by bringing in the best ideas, by seeking common ground, and then making a decision. I don't answer to Wall Street. I answer to you. I answer to working families.
All right, so the Wall Street thing is a whack on Gina Raimondo, the current treasurer, who is going to most likely run for governor. If you're wondering, Jess and I were just talking about, you're probably wondering, what's all the little library books and everything else? He's at the library at the Meeting Street School to highlight the idea that he was a Head Start baby, his words. Head Start, the early childhood education program that he wants to, grow even further in pre-K and all sorts of other things for everybody in the state. But it took him 4 pages of this speech to finally get to something even close to the big idea thing.
During this campaign, I will share with you ideas on these issues and many more. I want this campaign to be one built on ideas, not policy papers to collect dust after the election, but policies that I will turn into laws that will support new jobs and better schools and better health care. The goal is to create opportunity. We must improve, help, nurture, and solve problems. It is time for Rhode Island to try a new path, one built on working together and putting the needs of people first.
Honestly, I've long admired Angel Taveras. I've been roughing him up over the pool thing, which is resolved, and I'll get to that a little bit later here in the rundown. But here's what I deducted. In addition to it being all about him and him being all excited about running for governor, he's going to open up the candy store. His policies, his vision, the candy store for everybody. Stay tuned. His Democratic opponent-to-be is Gina Raimondo, the state treasurer, who appeared on the Newsmakers program with Tim White and Ted Nesi, and she thwarted the current rumor mill that she might duck out of the Democratic primary and run as an independent.
I'm a core Democrat. You know, we fixed the pension to save people's pensions because I care about public employees.
So 100%, if you run, there will be a D next to your name on the ballot.
That's right.
Now, there's a reason why those guys are asking those good questions, because there's a lot of people inside and around peripheral to Gina Raimondo's campaign to be that wish she would run as an independent because they think she might have a hard time squeezing in this Democratic primary. Remember, you got Angel, the mayor of Providence, and you got Clay Pell, who's got a lot of money and a lot of family heritage, and so it might get a little tight there. Time will tell, but if you're looking to run as a Democrat nationally, and the rumors are that Gina would like to be a national figure, leaving the party to run for governor ain't going to do you so good. So she might be between a rock and a hard place. We'll see. She hasn't announced yet, and she's just stringing it along, driving everybody crazy. Whatever. Okay, next item. Speaking of parties, Ken Block, he built the moderate party. Here's a headline: Block seats GOP nod for governor. Yeah, this is really fascinating. Here's his website, and on the website there's a promise: I will find and save Rhode Island $1 billion in wasteful spending. That's like right next to his name. So I wanted to find out today what that was all about. So I had him on the radio show, and he'll appear on the TV show tomorrow, by the way, and we'll get more answers. But it seems like we got a big culture change. As an example of the money that he's trying to save, he's going to go after TDI.
Under 9% of the working population overuses TDI every year, or uses TDI every year, I should say. Yeah. So you're not talking about a gigantic chunk of the electorate. And most importantly, what I know for a fact is that Rhode Islanders are sick and tired of being where we are. They don't like it. They want to see things changed. And so if I can bring into the conversation how broken some of these most basic things are, how much money we can save by changing them and turning them around, I believe to the bottom of my being that more people will vote to get the change than will vote to keep the status quo.
Well, look, here's what he's trying to do. For TDI, you know, you go to the doctor, you got an ankle. You ask the doctor to write you for 3 months when you could be back to work in 2 weeks. You got a job where you get laid off on a regular basis, and it saves everybody a little bit of money, and it's kind of a convenient vacation deal. Those two programs are examples of things he wants to change. Whether he's going to grab the culture of Rhode Island and have people vote for him to change those things that they like, you know, work in the system, who knows? But running into the Republican primary is exactly what he needs to do, because if he can pull off a win there, he becomes a very viable candidate. That moderate party thing was a stinker from the start. Alan Fung, the Cranston mayor, will announce next week, we're told, for governor as well. And so those are the two guys in that race. Okay, back to the pool real quick here. You know, when we last left you, I was telling you that there was progress, that it was. City councilor and president of the council, Michael Solomon, who's an Angel Tavares ally, came up with a solution. Here's a headline from that they snuck into the Sunday paper. Tavares agrees to study pool options. Little tiny story after a lot of coverage. The bottom line here in this particular deal that they made is that they're not going to cement this pool, the Davy Lopes pool in the South End, which is in terrible shape. They're going to bring a commission together, along with swimempowerment.org, South End leaders and the like, and they're going to try to come up with a solution for a long-range swimming strategy and an urban policy that makes some sense. This is terrific. And it was so funny today. Angel Tavares finishes his little Meeting Street gubernatorial announcement thing, and he walks out of there, and my close ally and counterpart on WPRI, Matt Allen, asks him about the pool. Listen to this answer.
The council president had a very good proposal that I agreed to, and it's an important issue, but it's important, even broader than one pool. It's important about swimming. You can't get onto the fire department if you don't know how to swim. Right. So we want to make sure to create opportunities.
You can't get, he's like, hey, you know, I could have had a V8. You can't even be a firefighter without being a swimmer. This guy was completely turned on a 180. Funny what happens when you want to run for statewide office. Congratulations to South End leaders, to all of you who stepped up, listeners, viewers. Progress. It says you can fight City Hall. And lastly, we are tied at 2-2. That was some game last night, huh? And Whew, Mr. Gomes knocked one out. And the pitch, deep to left center. All right, so now you got to win. Who knows what the heck is going to happen tonight? The way this game ended with this pickoff play at the end, and the night before with the obstruction call. By the way, as an old umpire, I knew that was obstruction. Everyone else is yelling interference. It's obstruction when the fielder gets in the way of the runner, and it doesn't matter whether it's purposeful or not. These calls and this umpiring have been phenomenal in this World Series, and so has the drama. Game 5 tonight. At least you know they're coming back to Fenway. All right, Ernie Almonte, he's got a sports mind. We'll get a thought out of him about this World Series as well. But he's got other things on his mind, like becoming the next treasurer. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back in. One of the good guys in public life around here is Ernie Almonte, and he's biting off a lot. He might think he can chew it all. I'm not so sure, but I know he certainly has the qualifications, so the politics are going to be really interesting. Welcome, sir. Good to have you.
Great to see you.
Get you off the golf course. Yeah, the both of us aren't playing much golf these days, although we certainly would like to. Here are the two guys right now that Ernie is dealing with in a Democratic primary, it looks like. Seth Magaziner is a new entry into the field. And I had a little tussle with him last week trying to get some unprogrammed answers out. And, of course, Frank Caprio, who was the treasurer for 2 terms, then ran for governor and failed. So you are now in the midst of a crowded Democratic field to run for treasurer. Let's talk about how you're going to run the office in our second segment. Why don't we talk about the politics? Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready for this. You know,
I know you're an athlete and a competitor.
I am a competitor.
Do you have the gumption for this? I mean, you've been well, just tell me.
Well, first of all, let's go back to the golf thing. I don't know if you know the nickname they gave me up at Kirkbride was tons of postage, no address. So I'm much better at finances than hitting a golf ball. So this is where I vote.
Tons of postage.
No address.
So you had trouble addressing the ball? Is that what that?
No.
I've never heard that joke.
Yeah,
what is that?
It's that I hit the ball far, but you never know where it's going to go.
Oh, okay.
Mostly in the woods.
Right.
Or in
I know that feeling.
I've won longest drive and never lowest score.
Well, you got to keep longest drive in the fairway to win it, you know.
I know, once in a while.
All right, so tell me,
but
originally you were going to run for governor.
Yes.
And then you switched out of that. And you told me, looked me square in the eye and said, I'm running for governor.
Absolutely.
And then you switched, so.
Yeah, I can explain. And for me, when I first decided I want to run for office, I was so frustrated with our state. There's no vision, there's no plan. And I have 5 sons. 3 of them couldn't get jobs here. They go to other states, they get 3 and 4 job offers. I got 1 in New York, 1 in North Carolina, 1 in Boston. You know, we want our family together. So we have history, art, and culture in our state, yet our the next generation has to go somewhere else to get jobs. It's just not right. So I told my wife, I said, when we sat down, I said, I've got the education, the experience, the ethics, the maturity to fix the problem. I'm not going to sit around when I'm 80 years old and say, I had this ability and I didn't try to fix it. I want to try and fix it. And when I said I was running for governor, I went around the state and everyone, because I'm a certified public accountant, everyone kept saying, you should be the treasurer, you should do this. And so I heard them, I listened to the message, and I do understand right now, we have incredible candidates that are running for governor. I can work with any one of them. So I found a place where I could help the state of Rhode Island, help all the citizens, and it's in the treasurer's office. My skill set matches exactly with that position. I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that your skill set matches. I mean, we have a very quality Democratic primary. I mean, you can't argue that Frank Caprio is a pretty competent treasurer when maybe you are going to argue. Let me ask you, 2 stints as treasurer, evaluate his performance?
Well, actually, he only had 1. And when he was in
2 terms.
Well, when he was in no, he didn't. Yes.
1 term.
He had 1 term.
I'm sorry, that's right. Wrong weekend. 1 term as treasurer, then ran for governor.
That's correct. And you know, by his own admission, when he got interviewed, he said he spent 2 out of those 4 years running for governor. He had 1 year where they lost over $2 billion. So the way
tough market, Ernie.
Yeah, but you know, there are a lot of people that want to take credit for the up markets. Those are like the people that go to Foxwoods and tell you about the day they won and never tell you about the days that they lost. You know, you got to put them all together when you determine it. So when it happens like that, it's really a reflection of managing risk. But the point I want to make, if we separate him from me, is he spent 20 years in leadership positions, but by almost every metric, we're in last place. That's not the future I want for the state of Rhode Island. That's not where I plan on putting us. And then when you compare it to Seth, who just got in the race, virtually very light on experience, and so I don't want someone like that that's just learning how to invest money with the state money instead of with his own personal money. I've been through my whole career. I've met a lot of people that have been born on third base but think they hit a triple. And I look at this as saying, there's really not experience in this matter. I have broad breadth of experience, and it's deep too. I've got the education, the experience, ethics, maturity to do this job. I'm going to make a pathway for success for everybody, not just those that know somebody.
I think we just got a radio or television debate line out of Ernie when he turns to Seth Magaziner and says, looks like you're born on third base, but you haven't hit a triple. But you know what? People get exactly what you mean that way. But he could have some big money. The Clintons could come in for him. Caprio's at least got the name recognition. Admit it, you got a long battle here. I mean, this is a very strange race because there's no doubt in my mind that you're competent enough, I mean, professional enough, experienced enough, talented enough, expert enough to be the treasurer. I just don't know how you get there from here.
Well, I can tell you, I'm 57 years old. I've dealt with a lot of adversity in my life, and I've made my way through it. I lived in a 3-family home, shined shoes to make a living. I came all the way up to owning a home and living the American dream. I can create that for everyone else. It's getting the message out there.
You dumping a bunch of money into the campaign?
I'm putting my own money in, too.
How much does it take?
I'm figuring to be somewhere between $600,000 and $800,000. I've already raised $264,000. I have $202,000. Well, as of the end of the third quarter, about $202,000, and all my bills are paid.
All right. You know what? I could talk politics with Ernie all day, but let's find out what he wants to do as treasurer next. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, welcome back in. Ernie Almonte, the former state auditor, is now Auditor General, is looking to be your treasurer. You got to get elected to that position. We just went through the politics of it. Now, what do you want to do as treasurer?
Well, really,
tell me about the money and how you would manage it.
Okay, I really have a 4-point plan for the treasurer's office. The first one is the bread and butter of the treasurer's office. The main thing, execute an investment strategy that improves returns, reduces cost, manages risk, sustains the viability of the plan. Why? Because that helps the retirees to get the money they've been promised. That helps the citizens that don't get an extra burden put on their back. And it frees resources for the state of Rhode Island to either lower taxes or improve services or a combination of the two. That's one. The second one, I learned when I was the Auditor General, I always got called in when there were financial problems. So what I want to do is not add additional staff, but within the Treasurer's office, to have a financial expert resource team, sort of like a floating chief financial officer for the 39 cities and towns to help them with investment-related decisions. Sort of like 5-year budget plans, lease versus buy, when to go out and borrow money.
And they are all over the map from town to town.
And they are. I saw that when I was the Auditor General. I always got called in when there was a crisis. So I want to be more proactive instead of reactive. And what we could do is not telling them what to do, but giving them a strategy and how to solve their problem with financial experts. It's unbiased decision-making with integrity.
Right, number 3?
Number 3 is really, I'm a certified fraud examiner. I'm certified in financial forensics. I'm a certified government financial manager. What I feel is, as a treasurer, the last person to touch the money before it goes out the door. In the Auditor General's office, I set up a white-collar crime unit. I'm looking at, we'll have a chief accountability officer within this office to be that last bit of accountability to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in government. And the fourth one...
That'll be busy.
It will be busy. There's an $8 billion budget, and whenever you have $8 billion, you have pressure, you have opportunity and rationalization for people to take money. I want people on the outside to know criminals don't come to the state of Rhode Island to do business here, and I want businesses to know that, and citizens to know you can restore your faith in government because of what we'll do. And the fourth one is, I'm the national chairman of the Financial Literacy Commission for the ICPA, and that's helping people to take control of their financial life. And that's what I want to do as a treasurer, to help people, all the citizens of the state of Rhode Island, to work out, to take control of their financial life. And why? Because I don't know how people can work when they're worried about their home being foreclosed on, their car being repossessed. We can make them better employees and better.
Quick answer if you can. This hedge fund embroilment over Gina Raimondo's head right now, is she playing her cards right, or is there something wrong?
Well, to me, with the hedge funds, it's, I always tell everyone, and I know you just mentioned a little while ago, it's a common phrase you hear, but I don't work for Wall Street. I never did. I don't plan on working for Wall Street when I'm done. So I always know that hedge funds, they're high risk, high cost, and they're not transparent. They apparently are not an investment that belongs in the public space because the public wants to know what's going on.
But there are plenty of public funds that have them
there
all
are plenty
across the land right now.
And if I was investing your personal money, that might be part of the investment. But we have to understand who our client is. In this case, it's the citizens of the state of Rhode Island. They want more transparency. But
so how do you mitigate risk in the entire portfolio?
Well, there's all kinds of investments that you can do that mitigate risk, whether it be real estate investments. There's other alternative investments you can make. But the big thing is, when you're in charge of that fund, you're in charge of $8 billion, billion with the B. You just tell people, the only way I'm going to invest with you is if you reduce your cost on both ends. If you don't, I'll just go to someone else who's willing to do that.
Right.
And you know,
so
nationally, there's pressure on that.
We can project that there'll be a lot less or no hedge fund investing.
A lot less,
right.
Not no.
All right, come back a lot. It's an exciting thing that it's a very high quality treasure campaign we have here, and wow, that's a lot of money to have to throw in, isn't it?
It is.
Wow.
It's a shame what happens in our society. You have to spend this much money when all you want to do is help the million citizens of the state of Rhode Island.
Hit him straighter, will you? Ernie L. Monte, who's running for treasurer. He'll be back a lot. Your State of Mind when we come back. Stay with us.
Hey, Dan, thank you very much.
You know, it's really important that you feed back to me what you see here on the television. And we got a voicemail on this particular subject matter. Last week, we had the head of the firefighter union and the state representative from Coventry who were doing some battle over the, the fire district deal there. We have a picture of those guys, right, on the program last week. We have a voicemail responding to the very contentious conversation they had about the financial sustenance of the Central Coventry Fire District.
I like your program. This is the first time I got a chance to see it, and I only saw part of it tonight. But you need to do a little investigation. This goes a lot deeper than the end of the part of the program that I saw with President Gorman and Representative Morgan.
You know, it is hard, Ron, but here's the thing. Pay attention in your local community. Get to your local meetings. Dig in. You should be more informed than I can even provide on this show. Your State of Mind, call me. Voicemail 228-1886. We'll play you, like Ron. State of Mind at myRITV.com or through Facebook and Twitter. Go Sox. See you tomorrow at 7:30.